Evening. Thanks for joining us. Bill is off tonight. An incredible act of generosity from an Oshkosh couple who is turning their grief into something positive. After enduring the heartbreak of losing 3 children, Angel and Garrett Carter have made it their mission to provide the gift of time to grieving parents. Emily Riley sat down with those parents and shares a story you will only see here on Action 2 News.
Back in 2021, we got pregnant through IVF. It was our second transfer, and everything was going really great with the pregnancy.
That joy was short-lived for Angel and Garrett Carter. At just 20 weeks, their world was shattered. Angel went into labor far too early. Their son Nolan lived for just an hour before passing away. It was the beginning of a heartbreaking pattern. Angel and Garrett experienced 2 more pregnancies and 2 more precious babies lost. Each one, Nolan, Brooklyn, and Grant, taken before their time.
I had gone through this obviously a couple times, twice with the CuddleCot, once without.
The CuddleCot, a small device that no parent wants to need, but for those who do, it's invaluable. It helps preserve a baby's body, allowing families more time to say goodbye.
We were able to spend time with him and hold him and sing to him and just spend the night with him.
The couple learned their CuddleCot was donated by a family who went through the same situation.
That kind of sparked the idea of, well, if this family had donated a CuddleCot, can we do something?
They set up a GoFundMe, hoping to raise $1,000 to help cover part of the cost of a CuddleCot and help other parents facing the same unimaginable pain. The response was overwhelming.
Within a couple weeks of losing him, we had gotten close to $10,000, which was amazing.
With those funds, they donated CuddleCots to hospitals in Berlin and Shawano. They want to give other parents the chance to make those precious memories, to have just a little more time.
A lot of times this is the only time that the family will get with their baby.
For Angel and Garrett, the memories may be painful, but they're grateful for every single one. And now, thanks to them, more families will have that time.
To be able to spend time with your child is an amazing thing, and like we had talked about, it's the memories that you get for the rest of your life, because you're not making new ones.
For more information on the impact of CuddleCots and where you can donate, you can visit WBAY.com. Reporting in Neenah, Emily Riley, Action 2 News.